Hey everyone, welcome to Maritime Punk. Today I'm here with NOAHFINNCE, who just released a rockin' debut full-length on Hopeless Records. Thanks so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
That's all right. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So you have an interesting journey to internet stardom that began younger as a child. Can you tell me a bit about how you shifted from YouTuber playing cover songs to full-time musician?
Yeah, so I released my debut song called Asthma Attack in 2018, and I kind of just released it because it was something that I had written, and I just started testosterone and my voice was about to drop, and I was like, look,
Mm-hmm.
this song is entirely about trans stuff, and I wanted to release it with the voice that I wrote it in, so that's why I started releasing music, and then yeah, I think I just I got management, and I was like a really anxious person. I was really stressed out. I had like no self confidence, and I didn't think that I could ever like actually do music stuff. Just because like I could write songs, I could sing, I could do all of that, but I just didn't believe in myself. And then I got management in 2019, and they were just like, yeah, so what do you want to do? Do you want to be a musician? I was like, yeah, but that sounds scary. But yeah, I mean, I got a lot of help with them. Like they helped me figure out like what distribution is, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it kind of just happened naturally. Like people had been following me for a while from like I guess like 2015 from when I first
Yeah.
started posting covers. Um, so it didn't shock anybody when I started releasing my own stuff. And like I grew up in like the emo world, like MCR
Mm-hmm.
fan accounts, so it all kind of made sense with the audience that I had anyway.
Yeah. You play a lot of instruments too: guitar, bass, drums, ukulele. Was it always something
Yeah,
that you were able to pick up fairly quickly?
yeah. I mean, like I've only ever had like music lessons for drums. And I started them when I was 10. And my brother started drums before me. He was like 5 years older than me, and I always thought it was really cool that he played drums. But yeah, I guess so. Like I've always been singing. Like as a kid, I would just perform like Oliver Twist and like The Lion King to my parents, but never in front of anybody else because I was too scared to do that. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't. I taught myself guitar and bass and that kind of stuff, and I don't know. It was like I didn't find it too difficult. It was more just like fun. It was like a puzzle that I had to complete.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've always been really into music. My mum was like in a covers band, and like my dad would always play vinyls when I was a kid, so it was
Yeah.
kind of like a natural thing to happen.
Yeah. Did you ever get the speech, "You're a good musician, but you're still gonna have to get a real job," or were they really on board with you, kind of going wherever you wanted to go with this?
Yeah, no, my parents didn't give a shit. They were
Yeah.
just like, look, we trust that whatever you do, you're gonna do well at it. Yeah, so they had a lot of confidence in me, and they like I've never had a normal family. Like my mum would drive me to school like dressed up as a punk. Like she had like razor bladed hair and like
Yeah.
red stripes in it when I was a kid. And my dad, yeah, no, they never tried to push me anyway. They just wanted me to do what I wanted to do, and like they saw how much I really enjoyed the music that I made. Like I would when I taught myself guitar, I would spend like 8 hours a day on it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was obsessive about it.
Yeah. It can be quite a grind getting as many subscribers as you have on your socials. Popular post or video that kind of blew it out of the water.
Um, I don't think it was really one. I feel like it was a few. Like I only ever started posting videos on YouTube because this was when you could only post 15-second videos on Instagram. So I had to post on YouTube if I wanted to post a full cover. But literally the first singing cover that I ever posted on YouTube blew up. It was like a cover of I Don't Know My Name by Grace Vanderwall, who was like the America's Got Talent
Yeah.
winner. And that blew up out of nowhere. That was my first video to hit 1 million. And then there were a few others. There were like there was like a Stand By Me cover that I did that did really
Yeah.
well.
I remember that one.
Yeah, exactly. Like I guess there are a few like that, but I don't think I've had like a big
Yeah.
hit that's like I've never had like a defining video, which like
Okay.
I'm kind of grateful for.
Yeah.
Because people from across the internet know me from a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah. It's interesting just to be able to kind of watch that kind of hill being climbed as you keep releasing things, and you're like, whoa,
Mm.
last week I had 20,000, now I have 40,000, and then
Yeah,
you
nah,
probably
it
lose
was real
track.
fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I don't know. I've never really been one to like celebrate milestones. I kind of just like because it's hard. Like until I started like playing shows and actually meeting kids, it was hard to be like, oh well, 7,000
Yeah.
views is 7,000 people. Like it was really easy to just see them as numbers. So that was never really exciting to me. I think when I was younger, I was like, wow, 50,000 people. But like, yeah, I guess it kind of just like as long as it was going up and I wasn't like losing followers, I was
Yeah.
happy.
No, it's good not to obsess over that for sure.
Yeah.
So when you came out as a transgender man in 2017, you decided to share a lot of aspects of your journey with your followers. How did it feel once you shared that with your fans and kind of the reaction you got?
Oh, dude, like so for context, like I grew up in a boarding school, like a really conservative one, and I didn't come out until I finished school. But I started this My Chemical Romance fan account and started posting covers before I finished school. So I was pretty much like living a double life, where I was a girl in school and a
Yeah.
boy online, which was like the most anxiety-inducing thing
Mm,
ever. Like I had everybody from my school blocked. I kept it a complete secret. So like it was kind of a relief coming out online because then like I would never be able to say online like, hey, like I'm trans. One, because I didn't really want to. I didn't want that to be like a defining thing, but also just like if I came out online as trans and people from my school found it, I don't know what would have
yeah.
happened. But yeah, it was mostly like a relief, and I've never intended to like be like a spokesperson for the trans community. I kind of just wanted to talk about my experiences because that's like the internet had always been a place for me that I could be myself because like as I said, like conservative boarding school, I couldn't really be myself there.
Yeah.
So I would just share aspects of my life that probably people wouldn't share with like their closest friends, but I would put it on the internet because I was like I can't find my people where I live. And
Exactly.
the only place that I could find people like me was the internet.
So a lot of your subject matter speaks about your personal experiences, mental health, LGBTQ plus topics, and a lot of
Mm.
other subjects that may be taboo in a fan's home. So do you get messages from young fans telling you how a song really resonates with them, and kind of being able to even go in the comment section and have that discussion with people?
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, which is I love it. It's so cool. It's also like still hard to process for me because again, like I just like it's just like therapeutic for me to like speak about stuff and like write about stuff. So when other people like connect to it, I obviously love it, but it's still just like, oh, this is my song about me, and you feel that way too. Yeah, it's great, and I meet fans at every show. And like having them speak to me being like, yeah, you were the first trans person that I saw. I didn't really understand what was wrong with me,
Mm-hmm.
like because a lot of people, I was in the same boat until I like actually figured out what being trans was and I read up about it. I didn't realize that like living a life like this where I could be happy was possible. So a lot of the time it's conversations like that where they're like, thank you for like speaking about your experience because it helped me understand myself. But a lot of it is like speaking to the parents is like really cool as well because like a lot of the times the kids like don't have the words, like
Yeah.
they don't get them out right because they're like really overwhelmed. But like when the parents speak to me, I'm like, oh, this is just like I'm glad that their kid has found out more about themselves, and if I can help them feel more comfortable, then like I love that.
Yeah. So tell me about the latest album, Growing Up on the Internet. What was your experience like in the recording studio, and what can you tell me about this one?
Yeah, so like as I said, kind of the only place where I could really be myself was the internet. Lived a double life, girl in school, boy online. So growing up on the internet to me was like quite literal. Like it wasn't just like I would spend a little bit of time there. Like my entire life was there. Like I developed my personality there. I found my best friends there. People I'm closest to now I met on the internet. And I realized that was something that I'd never really spoken about in any of my songs because like the last two EPs were about like the first times that I had been in therapy and it was processing a lot of like that kind of trauma related stuff. But up until like we started writing the title track growing up on the internet, I was like, I have no idea what this album's going to be
Yeah.
about. And as soon as I got that first voice note of like growing up on the internet, think it'll fuck your head. Like then immediately I was like,
You
oh,
ran with
this is
it.
entirely what the direction of the album has to go because like I
Yeah.
have so many weird experiences that I didn't really reflect on as a kid because why would you? Because you're a kid
Yeah.
and you don't realize that your life is different to other people. But like looking back at stuff that I went through on the internet as an adult now, well, I realized there was a lot of stuff to process and a lot of content. And I just thought, like music for me is, I'm not very intentional with stuff. Like if I go in a room and I write a song about something, it's because that's what I'm feeling. It's not like I go in and I'm like, hey, let's write a song
Yeah.
about this thing. But it just so happened that like that's where my head was at. And yeah, I never intended it to be like relatable for like other people. I more just wanted to talk about my experience and like obviously I have an exaggerated experience growing up with like hundreds of thousands of people
Yeah.
like paying attention to me and telling me what they like and don't like about me. But I feel like it's kind of a universal feeling for a lot of people in my generation.
Yeah. Well, best of luck on the tour. Can't wait to see what the future holds. And thanks so much for doing this.
Oh yeah, thank you for having me.